Thank you very much. Let me, thank you. This morning, when I was thinking about mindset reset, and I can't agree more with all who have spoken before me, that the mind will determine what we do going forward. And I looked at Africa as it is today. And let me very quickly give you an assessment of Africa today. As I speak now, there are no less than 16 conflicts going on in Africa, as I speak now. As I speak now, almost 50% of Africans will suffer from famine. There will be a meeting here about food. And many things will be said, many beautiful things will be said. But they'll have no relationship to what is happening in Sudan. They'll just be said. There may possibly be a Kigali resolution. And it will end there. We'll meet again and have an Accra resolution. You've talked about Agenda 2063. It is not new. It is the new name for the Lagos Plan of Action of 1980. We in the continent of Africa, as others have said, are in the business of giving new name to old things, assuming that that will solve our problems. What young people must do is to understand Africa, because you cannot solve that which you do not understand. And I've had the advantage of talking to very many young people since yesterday, from different countries, some countries with conflict. I've talked to young people from Sudan, from Chad, from Cameroon. Those are conflict countries. Which then begs the question, if we want to change minds, how do we want to change minds? We are very quick to talk about artificial intelligence, and I normally ask, whose artificial intelligence? I was watching this morning the humanoid competitions in China, robots racing. And very quickly, I also watched people struggling for water in Chad, refugees. And yet when we are called upon to discuss these things, we issue statistics that this is what Africa is going to be. But I'm suggesting to this audience and to the young people that number one, we must understand what the problem is. In 1950-60, we said our problem was education. We talked about ignorance. We talked about poverty. We talked about disease. I'm talking to you at a point now when there is Ebola in Eastern Congo. Where has the vaccine come from? Europe. Do we know whether it is a vaccine or we are guinea pigs? We don't know. What are our governments doing about it? Very little. A few months ago, we have another vaccine for malaria, which was tested in Kenya. Do we know whether it's a vaccine or we are guinea pigs? We do not know. That is in the area of disease. We are talking about curriculum development. In the East African region, we said we were going to harmonize education. I now want you to look at the curriculum in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Somalia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. They are as far from each other as the North is from the South. We are not harmonizing education, yet we say that we want to solve the problems of Africa. You young people, you are living at a time when it is the best of times and the worst of times. It depends on what you do about it. And the mind is what is going to help us resolve this problem. It gladdens my heart that nearly 22 countries are represented here. The question is, after this conference, will you coordinate or you'll wait for another conference? This is the question. When I saw young people moving in from through Morocco into Ceuta, trying to get into Europe, it tells you that there is a problem. And how are we going to resolve it? By beginning to change in our communities. First, can Africa feed herself? And we are going to feed ourselves if we identify how to do it. If you look at many organizations and many initiatives in the continent of Africa, as I conclude, they are funded from outside. Bill Gates, even Africa, everything is funded from outside. Our friends of goodwill are getting fatigued. What will we do when they leave? The young girl from Ghana asked a question which I believe was not satisfactorily answered yesterday. She asked, the next generation of young Africans are being fed on curriculum or curricula which is developed from outside of the continent. Most of you here, the adults, your children are going to British curriculum schools, French, and when they come back, they'll be the leaders, and they'll be holding apartments in Paris, in Portugal. Africa will only be a hunting ground. Then they go back. What are we doing about curriculum? So, Julie, as we go forward, I believe that the mind is the standard that we are going to deal with. And we are going to deal with when we introduce what I call hygiene in our politics. Easier said than done. What are we doing? Because when politics stumbles, the country pays. And lastly, we must remind ourselves that this is an intergenerational task. Professor Tadia said, you are now the present generation. By the year 2063, I think half of this population will be dead. That is a very morbid thing to say. Half of you will be dead.
Wow.
And those of you who will be alive will be so weak and old that you will not be useful either to yourself or the continent of Africa, rather than repositories of experience. So you must hand over the baton to the next generation. Let me rest my case there.
Wow.